Okay, hello there everyone, and welcome to today's District Administration Web Seminar. It's great to have you all with us. My name is Kurt Eisenderle. I am the Web Seminar Editor for DA, and I'll be your moderator. The title of our event, as you see here, is School Safety Beyond the Basics, and is being brought to you through the generous support of our sponsor, NaviGate Prepared. First, as people are still coming in here, a bit of background about our topic for today. District and school safety plans and compliance measures are a start, but how do you move beyond the basics to accurately assess the preparedness of your staff and students? Today we'll be learning more about the current recommendations for school safety and emergency preparedness that every administrator should understand, and we'll also be hearing some practical advice and best practices to implement in any school or district when it comes to safety and security. We're looking forward to a very interesting presentation and discussion here, plus live Q&A. We welcome your questions, so do stay tuned. We're going to get started in just a minute or two. But before we do, just some quick housekeeping here. If you're having any trouble listening through your speakers, or if you prefer to listen over the telephone, you may have noticed we just posted the phone number and access code in the chat panel at the right margin, middle right margin of your screen there. You can use those numbers to get audio access over the phone if you need it at any time. You can also use that chat panel if you have any other technical issues. Just send a message to our host and producer, the event host. His name is Joseph Morrow. Just choose his name there and let him know you're having any technical issues, and he'll be able to help you out. And once again, as I mentioned, we welcome your questions here. If you have a question for our speakers today, you can ask at any time by typing in the Q&A box that you should see at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen there. Please just make sure it's set to all panelists. That's the default option there. Feel free to ask a question at any time. We'll answer as many as possible when we get to the Q&A at the end of the event today. So once again, if you have a question, just type it in that Q&A box, bottom right-hand corner. Also, we will make the slide deck available for you to download, and we are recording, and the archive recording will be available for you to review, or if you want to share with anyone on your team, go back over it at your own pace. But I'll tell you more about that later on. So again, everyone will be getting access to the slides here. This is a common question we get during presentations. You'll be getting a follow-up email with a link to those slides. Okay, so with that, on to our program. Today we're very fortunate to have with us Catherine Finger. She is retired superintendent of the Grays Lake Community High School 127 in Illinois, and she's also now the business development manager at NaviGate Prepared. Also with us is Tom Jones. He's general manager also at NaviGate Prepared, and we're fortunate to have them both with us here today. So Catherine is going to start us off today. So with that, I'll turn it over to her. Catherine, it's great to have you. We're happy to have you with us today. Welcome to our web seminar.
Thanks so much, Kurt, and I'm delighted to be here. And welcome everyone in the audience. Thank you so much for dropping by today. I don't know what life is like on your side of the screen, but here in Grays Lake, Illinois, it's a beautiful sunny day, wonderful fall afternoon, and I appreciate each and every one of you for spending your time with us when you could be doing so many other things. And we're excited to be here this afternoon to share some trends in school safety, and I personally am excited to illustrate as a former high school superintendent why I chose NaviGate Prepared to be my own school district's safety solution and why other school administrators in the audience might also be interested. It's been quite a journey for me. I've sat in your seat. I so appreciate and respect school leaders. I so understand the importance of having deeply ingrained quality professional networks. And I know that the District Administrative Journal and the Dolly Institute are all about promoting quality, as all of your respective organizations are, depending on where our listeners are gathered here today. And I learned in my own experience as a high school superintendent and in my various roles as a teacher, principal, etc., that quality programming matters. Quality networking matters. And I'm just finding it a real joy to be able to continue to engage with superintendents, principals, assistant principals in my area and at the national level on a new topic of school safety. Leaders just like you. And I want you to know that we're looking forward to expanding our network of both clients, but also just our professional network with administrators all over the country. I've also been in your shoes. Just a few months ago, I gave my last 2 high school commencements. Doesn't seem possible. And after 12 years of a high school superintendency and many other years as principal, associate superintendent, high school teacher, coach, etc., dean, I actually retired. And just a few hours ago this morning, I had the great pleasure of watching children from my neighborhood stomp across my yard and catch the school bus while I was drinking my coffee. And let me tell you, I like it when they get on the bus better than when they got off the bus. Even though I loved being a high school superintendent, it's really fun to watch the kids from my porch instead of my office or at school. My 12 years as a high school superintendent at Grays Bay Community High School District 127 in Grays Bay, Illinois, gave me a really interesting perspective around the importance of safety, security in the school and in the school district, not just the classroom setting, but to have consistency over time. I had a wonderful tenure in my district. I feel very strongly about my community. I still live here. I was hired by our Board of Education to improve our school district, as all of you are in so very many areas. I had the great good privilege of being engaged in recruiting staff members, instituting new programs. We built a brand new high school that is just amazing. And we just really turned the culture upside down. The phrase we use to capture what we did in our district is very simple. Every student, every day. We wanted every single member of our school community to be engaged in our students and to ask ourselves, what is this decision we're about to make? Is this dollar we're going to spend? Is this program we're going to implement? Is it going to improve things for our students, and how? We're about every student, every day. And while I could talk for hours about how we went about improving instruction, teaching, climate, etc. in our school district due to just a wonderful team and a wonderful community, what we're going to focus on here today is to think about and talk about a sense of safety and belonging that we found to be so important in my school community, not just among our students, but among our staff, our parents, and our entire school community. And over the years, NaviGate Prepared became one of the arrows in our arsenal around school safety and really made a difference in our district. We experienced success over time in a variety of areas, but I believe that success begins with safety. And while there were many things that I was proud about as a high school superintendent in terms of how great our students were, our parents, and our community overall, the thing I used to hear from parents that used to make my heart sing was that their students felt loved in our district. They felt like they belonged in our district. That deep need for all of us to belong to something greater than ourselves, to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel deeply embedded, is what really makes a difference in terms of connectedness in the school setting, in my opinion. And we really relied on NaviGate Prepared as in the latter days of my superintendency to help us develop and build upon what was already a deeply established sense of security and safety. But NaviGate Prepared helped us take that to the next level. Any superintendents in the audience, principals too, frankly, any leader that's involved at various places in the school community might resonate with my own personal metaphor for school leadership, which was a conductor. I feel like as school leaders, we have the great ability to tease out what is best from the individuals in our districts, on our leadership teams, on our boards of education, in our various community groups. Independently, they might sound a little squeaky, they might be out of tune, but as we pull them all together and see a vision that's greater than one individual instrument, we create not only beautiful music together, but a wonderfully strong sense of synergy that gives a power throughout your school community. That's what I loved about being a school leader. But it wasn't all about creating amazing music. I don't know what your state's like, but in the state of Illinois, we're pretty famous for budget issues. While we're thankful to have passed our school budget just in the nick of time, actually just a week and a half ago, it's a pressure on school people daily. Certification problems. I hope everyone listening here today has the great fortune to be fully staffed with fully certified staff members. I can tell you in a school district of 3,000 students, it wasn't always the case for us. We were scrambling, staying up late at night, trying to figure out how to staff those classes, and I know that's the case throughout the country. As I tell my colleagues who say to me, hey, you look so relaxed, it's very simple. When you're a school leader, how many of you out there slept during the summer and maybe stored that sleep up because you're afraid you're not going to sleep again until June? Well, as a high school superintendent, I hadn't had a good night's sleep since I don't even know when. So it's good to be able to relax, but you cannot do that while you're in the thick of things as a school leader. I know that. And of course, we like to take our best energies and mentor our leaders around us, our emerging leaders. We like to identify some of those qualities and characteristics in folks around us that they may not recognize themselves. That's one of the things we love to pour our best energy into, but again, that takes time. All of these pieces can detract or build your mission. It depends on what you do as a school leader. You don't see school safety on this screen, but it's definitely always there in the back of your mind as a school leader. We're worried not only about building our school board members up every year and worrying about doing more with less, as is often the direction in many of our districts, but we are worried in the back of our mind about school safety. That old adage, safety first, really is true. And yet, most of us have the luxury of not necessarily having to focus on school safety first and foremost in the front of our minds, but it's in the back of our minds at all times. And we know school emergencies happen at the least convenient times. So having a good system in place where your administrators are practiced in routines, they know where important communication is, they know how to direct staff so that you don't have to think about it in times of crisis, can lead to peace of mind. And I know for myself, as a school superintendent and also in other roles throughout the years, having a strong system in place in any area really improves the performance of your team and builds a sense of synergy. But how often are we intentional about building a system around school safety? And how do we define that? Who leads those conversations? These are topics that are sometimes pushed to the side. We were fortunate in my district about 4.5 years ago to be invited to serve as a demo site for NaviGate Prepared. At that time, I was also serving, in addition to being a high school superintendent, I was serving on the governing board of our state superintendent association, the Illinois Association of School Boards, was a representative for the Illinois Association of School Administrators as well. And both of these organizations had just begun to partner with NaviGate Prepared. Those reasons, along with hearing about the program myself and realizing it was pretty awesome, led me to say yes when we were invited to serve as a demo site for NaviGate Prepared. Since that time, I can tell you my district really enjoyed the process. I'm trying not to say fell in love with this system because that sounds way too schmaltzy, but it's true. We served as a demo site, and we were able to expand that sense of a peace of mind to many of our colleagues throughout the district. And NaviGate Prepared, as I discovered as a high school superintendent, wasn't just about a product, and you're going to hear some in-depth details about our product and process in a minute from Tom. But what I really like about NaviGate Prepared, I liked it then and I like it all the more now, is the many different facets of the individuals within the company. NaviGate Prepared strives to be thought leaders around school safety, and they have abundant resources available to them within the school safety environment. I've met some amazing individuals, and I'm looking forward to meeting many more. Another piece of that surprised me in a super pleasant way about working with NaviGate Prepared as a high school superintendent was the collaboration that was fostered not only with my district and our first responders, which again, Tom's going to get into in a bit, but we hosted a safety summit that was fully sponsored by NaviGate Prepared. They brought in high quality speakers to engage with my staff, but also staff members from neighboring community school districts. It was an amazingly powerful event. In a few weeks, NaviGate Prepared is going to be sponsoring one of the co-founders of a national organization called Safe and Sound Schools, Alyssa Parker, to be a speaker at the Illinois Association of School Administrators Fall Conference. And that's, again, one of those pieces of our company that I really appreciate. We want to help school administrators expand their knowledge base around school safety. I've been with NaviGate Prepared since July 1st, 2017. I retired on June 30th. I just wanted to let those of you in the audience who may be wondering what your next step in life might be like, wanted to let you in on a couple of my little secrets about NaviGate Prepared. As an organizational leader, I've been so pleasantly surprised and really kind of won over by NaviGate Prepared as an employee. I knew they had a great system in place when I was a school superintendent experiencing this company. But when I became one of their newer employees, and let me say right now, their older employee, which is kind of fun, I was really impressed and remained impressed by the level of commitment to our professional growth as individuals and just the open-mindedness around responding to what a district might need. If you're a school district, and this happened with me, but I thought it was unique to me because I was a demo site, but if you're a school district and you need help with implementing a piece of this program that Tom is about to describe, NaviGate Prepared will do that for you. If you need assistance transferring a flip chart from the old paper system to an online system that Tom's going to share with you shortly, hey, we'll help you out with that. And that sense of team, that organizational culture has really been a pleasant surprise for me. So if any of you out there are wondering, as a school leader, could you be successful in the business marketplace? Yes, you can, and I'm really enjoying it. And speaking of developing relationships with cool new colleagues, I'm going to introduce my new boss and our general manager of NaviGate Prepared, Tom Jones.
Thank you very much, Catherine. And we are very excited to have Catherine on board with us for sure. She's going to do a lot of exciting things. As we look at school safety, and I was an administrator, building principal back in 1999 when Columbine occurred, and there were basically two defining moments around school safety as we look at this evolution of school safety over the past 20 years. The first was that Columbine incident in 1999, and the second was Sandy Hook in 2012. Now, there were a lot of incidents that occurred both between those two events and then after Sandy Hook as well, but those two in particular over the past 20 years were definitely the most defining moments, and really is, for the most part, what we did as a country on the state level, on the local level, is we reacted to those events, whether it was throwing more money into school safety, various types of products or states coming up with compliance regulations around safety plans, around drill log requirements, which we see now happening across the country. For the most part, those were reactionary types of decisions and solutions that came about. Where we come in is we want to be more of, as opposed to reacting to emergencies and situations, we want you to respond to those. Because ultimately what we want to provide with you is peace of mind. You know, Catherine hit upon this a little bit, but as school leaders, school safety is top of mind for you. It's not necessarily something you think about all the time and every day, and in part because you have peace of mind around school safety, that your staff is going to be able to act appropriately and act responsibly. But yet, at the end of the day, we want to provide you with an additional layer of peace of mind, and that's where we come in with our NaviGate Prepared product. The respond, not react is something I used to use as a school administrator when I was working with my staff, because in any situation a staff is dealing with, whether it's classroom management, student discipline, an irate parent, working with a colleague, we want them to respond and not react, because when we respond, we do so based on the belief in our mind that we've been in that type of situation before and we're going to make an appropriate decision. When we react, we do so based on emotion, and a lot of times it's not the best and most sound decision. And when faced with a school emergency, regardless of the type of an emergency, we've got to equip our staff in how to respond to those various types of emergencies. And that's where we come in as a company with our NaviGate Prepared solution, where we assist you in the development, the maintenance, and the execution of an effective school safety program. What you're looking at here is what we refer to as our NaviGate Prepared dashboard, and this is what you would see when you would log into your site. So what we're going to assist with you is the organization of all the information around school safety. So whether it's call lists, both at the district level, at the building level, various types of emergency call lists, crisis call lists. We're going to organize those for you here. The documents section is any safety document that you may have. Everything is going to be organized there. Maps and floor plans. I'm going to get into this a little bit later in the webinar, but the maps and floor plans are the critical information that you're able to share with your first responders so that they may use those for their planning and preparation to equip them with more intelligent information potentially than they already have. The virtual binders section. We're past the day and age when we need to be relying on 3-ring binders. And the more binders that you have within your district or within your schools, the less likely it is that one is as consistent as the other. Chances are there's outdated information in there. The virtual binders, they eliminate that concern, because one single source change that is made in NaviGate Prepared is replicated throughout the entire system. The flip charts, this is what we're going to work with you to design for your staff. What are the important procedures that they need to know? What are those hazards that you need to be prepared for? We're going to build those for you in the flip charts. The drill logs, I'm going to get into that a little bit later as well, because that's where your principals and at the building level, where they're going to access NaviGate Prepared, where all the information is stored on a regular basis to put their drill logs into the system. The safety plans, that is the key ingredient to any school safety out there, is that key safety plan, and that's what I'm going to start with here after I discuss just a little bit about Respond. The Respond is a way to account for students during an alarm, and that's what your students or your staff is able to do, and I'm going to get into that here a little bit later as well. But as we put all that information together for you, we're going to first gather that information. Once all that safety information within your district, within the building, let us gather that and then let us organize that for you within your NaviGate Prepared system, where you're able to control the access and the level of access for your staff, whether that's district level administrators, building level administrators, first responders, whoever it might be. You control the access to that information. So the first thing that we do when we work with the district is we start with that safety plan. That is the umbrella that covers everything else around school safety. At the district level, at the building level, it's got to start with that safety plan. So when we work with you, we're going to take a look at your current safety plan. And we're going to look at your state requirements, the compliance requirements, and are you missing anything that the state says should be a part of that safety plan? Are you addressing all of the hazards that each of your buildings may face and have procedures with that? So that's the beginning of when we work with you, is starting with that plan. Once we've developed that template, what we're then going to do, and typically on the average, this is about 100-page-ish type of a safety plan, a document that is put together for each of the buildings. And it's very intimidating. I tell you, as a building principal, it's very intimidating to try to then fill in the blanks in that 100-page document with all the information I need to with my building around that safety plan. So we make it simple in that we put that safety plan and take that safety plan and put it into our safety plan wizard. Now, what I need to do at a building level is go through and answer a series of questions. And those questions then build that safety plan for me. And then what it allows you to do at the district level is I'm able to monitor and see where my buildings are with their plans and go into each building and see the progress that they're making. And that's the other piece that we provide for you as well, is that visibility in order to do that. So we building the plan, and literally we're a week, 2 weeks into working with you. We've got the plan in there. You're building the plan. Your principals are able to go in there and make changes very easily as changes occur. So you're looking at the various types of procedures that your principals are answering the questions through. Maybe you see, or we see, some inconsistency there that we need to address with you. So we need to go in and have some of the principals adjust and make changes to that. Very easy to do that. And then the whole time that this is occurring with that safety plan, you are able to keep that overall eye on your district and know where each and every one of your buildings are with their safety plans. So that's the very first component of what we're going to do when we work with you, is we're going to start with that safety plan, take a look at what you currently have, take a look at the state requirements, put it into the wizard, and allow you to start to build that. While this is taking place, we're going to start the process of building interactive floor plans for you, because this is the key component of what your first responders want and really, really need. Now, you may share your floor plans with you, but typically they're in a static version of the floor plan, where maybe it's a black and white floor plan, maybe you're showing some of the shutoffs and things like that. Our team is going to come through your schools and actually build interactive floor plans. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to into our live site, and I am going to share with you what this looks like. So again, this is the dashboard that I shared earlier, that we're building everything for you. And as we talk about, so far you've been working on your safety plans, your building principals have been building those. They've got those to the point where within a week or two, they are built. So with the maps and the floor plans, what we do is we take a black and white version of your floor plan, and we create an interactive floor plan. As we do that, we're going around and identifying, our team is identifying the key life safety icons and identifications from your fire poles or your fire extinguishers, the fire poles, your water shutoffs, your gas shutoffs, all those identification areas that it's important for your first responders to have access to. We're going to be going around and building that. In addition to that, as our team goes around through the building, we're going to take a couple photographs. The first is an exterior view looking into each room. So for your first responders, and we work with numerous first responders from across the country, and probably the best testimonials that we have come from Newtown schools in Connecticut, where I did a training with the first responders at the new Sandy Hook school, and what they do with these floor plans is they utilize this on a regular basis to plan for the various types of emergencies that they're going to face. So the door swing, looking from the outside, does it swing out, does it swing in? Critical information for law enforcement if there's ever a breach type of a scenario that they have to respond to. In addition, as we go through the buildings, we're going to take an interior 360 photograph. So for this 360 photograph, the first responders are going to be able to get a great idea of what this room looks like and be able to plan and prepare based on that. Are there any other doors in this, any closets? What are the windows around the classroom? Also, as a principal, I might be in this once a year as we're talking about shelter in place and discussing the best places for my staff to shelter in place, which in a classroom like this, it's going to be in this area where my cursor is because it's away from the site of the door. So while the principals are building their safety plans, we're sending a team around to build these interactive floor plans that you're going to be able to give access to your first responders. So we've done that. Now we're about 2-3 weeks into it. They've built the safety plans. In addition, we've taken your procedures from the safety plans that your teachers need to know about, and we've built flip charts for them. So now, on a regular basis, how often should a building principal be in NaviGate prepared? Whenever they do a drill. So for the drills, we look at the state requirements. So regardless of what state you're in, they all have requirements around drills. So we're going to look at how many fire drills are required or emergency evacuation drills, how many school safety drills, tornado drills, whatever the types of drills that you are required to have at the state level. Maybe you have some additional ones at the local level, but we're going to put all those into the system. Then what your principals are able to do is they're able to schedule their drills based on that information. So by pre-scheduling the drills, and this is best practice as far as drills are concerned, I'm able to know where I am with my drills. And for my emergency evacuation drills or fire drills, I'm probably not going to go 9 for 9 or 10 for 10, however many are required, but at least I'm going to know where I am if I pre-schedule those. In addition, under the manage reminders, I'm able to see or send myself a reminder and anybody else within my staff. So when I was a building principal, it would have been myself, my assistant principal, my SRO, key secretaries that I'm going to send reminders to. And 72 hours before all those drills, I'm going to get a reminder. So that's a good checks and balances to stay up with my drills. And then if I haven't logged that drill, then I'm going to get a reminder that I've not logged the drill. So once I do the drill, I get into the system, and I go to my drill logs, and I go to log a drill. Now all I have to do is put that required information into the log the drill section, and whatever required information is there for your individual state is what we will have here. I put that information in, I post my log, and I've got that information in there, and I am completed. So now whoever needs to have access to that, whether it's first responders, district level administrators, whoever it might be, they have information with regard to my log. I don't need to send that to anyone else. By doing that and doing the drills in the system, now you're accessing the system where all that safety information lives for something you're at the building level they have to do, which is log the drills. I'm now going to go back to the slides here and forward a couple slides here that I showed you in the live site. So at this point in time, we've talked about the safety plans that are now completed within a 2 to 3 week time period. We've already gone through your buildings. We've built those maps and floor plans for your first responders, have the flip charts built. We've talked about the drill logs and how your principals are to do those drill logs. From your perspective, as far as at the district level, you're going to be able to see where all of your buildings are with your drills. You know, have there been buildings that have not completed drills? We're going to send you a monthly report that shows you the first of every month what has taken place in your district that previous month. How many drills were scheduled, how many were completed. how many drills were scheduled, how many were not completed, and by what buildings. So a really good checks and balances system there for you. And one of the things that I do when I talk to principals, or when I talk to districts, I tell them and I let them know, and I come from experience when I say this, 15 years as a building principal, there's absolutely no excuse for not keeping up with safety drills. And a trend that we see across the country now at the state level and even in the news is a lot of focus on those safety drills. Your safety plan is not subject to public record request in any state. Your drill logs are subject to public record requests, so it's extremely important to keep up on those drills. However, just doing the drills is needing compliance. What we want to work with you on is beyond compliance. I talked about at the beginning of the presentation about the importance of building that preparation into your staff. And with that, what we have to do is build a stress inoculation in their mind. What stress inoculation does is, if the mind does not know whether it's been in a stressful, can't remember what to do in a stressful situation, it's going to panic, it's going to react. However, if the mind believes it's been in that situation before, then it's going to respond. So one of the things that we do when we work with districts and with buildings is we tell them and we work with them to the point of every time you do a drill, it's going to be based on a scenario. Why do you want to do it based on a scenario? Because you want your staff to initiate the drill. Think about your buildings in your district, from the smallest elementary to the largest high school. The staff outnumbers the administrators. So they are much more likely to see a dangerous situation occurring as opposed to that administrator seeing that occurring. So we want to be able to equip them with the knowledge of how to make a proper response. So this is just an example of one of the scenarios that we provide you with. So I would walk this into a teacher. I'd let my staff know all the drills that we are going to be doing from here on out, they're going to be staff initiated. I'm going to work with you as a building principal in making that right decision. So under this scenario, in the middle of teaching class, when you and several of your students notice smoke and flames coming through the ceiling tiles over your head, that teacher would need to know what to do. So Mrs. Smith, the third grade teacher, I've walked in, she looks at this. Think about your teachers in your district or in your building. What would most teachers say they would do? You're correct. Call the office. No, there's smoke and flames coming out of the ceiling tile. We can't have you call the office. You need to think about your safety first. So we want to teach them your safety first, just like in an airplane. Who do you put the oxygen mask over first? You, then your small child. Your safety first, then your student's safety. So under this scenario, we want that teacher to get up, go out of the classroom, pull the alarm, and initiate the other procedures. When they get to the alarm, what are they going to say? I can't pull that, I'll get in trouble. And I say, don't worry, I've already called the alarm company. They know we're doing a fire drill today. Pull the alarm, the building's burning down. So that's a softball type of a scenario that we want to lob to them first, and then we can build upon that a more serious types of situations that they may face. But we do this every time that we do a drill because we're building in them that stress inoculation and what to do in an emergency. In addition to the drill deck that I showed you that we provide you with, we also have audio type of drill scenarios that I could take a phone into one of my teachers' classrooms and play the audio scenario. They're typically about 20 to 30 seconds long. So we want to provide you with those training opportunities for your staff. In addition, and I mentioned this a little earlier at the beginning about Respond. So Respond is an app that we have where we're going to connect with your student information system. So we're going to bring all your staff members in through your student information system, and we're going to bring their class list in as well in order for them to have access to those in an emergency or in a drill. And we're going to regularly sync with that student information system so that roster is up to date. So based on the scenario, say we're doing a lockdown, and it's a lockdown drill, we give the scenario to the staff member, they initiate the lockdown. We're also going to have them initiate the Respond app. When they initiate the Respond app, It gives me, as an administrator, an ability to communicate with my staff through the alt chat, the respond chat feature. So I'm going to give them some instructions about the drill that I want them to do during that drill. One of the first things we're going to have them do is to account for their students by name. So we've pulled the information from your student information system. They're able to pull up that class that they currently have in their possession, whatever that class might be, and they're going to see their complete roster of those students, which is up to date as that secretary who inputted that information the day before. They have three options as far as accounting for the students. They're accounted for, they're green. I've got them in my possession. Yellow, they're absent from school. I know they are absent from school. Or red, they're unaccounted for. Say we go into a lockdown. I have two students that I sent to the library. I don't have them. They are unaccounted for. I need to mark them unaccounted for. So being able to account for those students by name is critical in any emergency situation, and we want to be able to do this during every drill. In addition, while this is occurring, so while the teachers are all going through and accounting for their students, my secretary, my assistant, myself, other individuals that I want to have access to, they're going to be able to see this not accounted for is going to be decreasing. This accounted for is going to be increasing. The number of teachers active is increasing. So we're going to be able to see real time what is occurring throughout the building as far as attendance. And I'm going to be able to drill down to those individual students who are missing to be able to account for those. Or if I'm in the library, I'm able to account for those students that I have by creating a custom roster. So this is all occurring during every drill that we have. In addition, part of the instructions that I'm giving my staff during that emergency is I want them to review their flip charts. So these flip charts are built from our safety plan. So during every drill, I'm going to have them review 2, 3, maybe 4 of the tabs within the flip chart once they've accounted for the students. So now they're building that knowledge in what are we supposed to do in a lockdown? What do we do in reverse evacuation? What do we do in the various hazards that we've identified in the safety plan? What are those appropriate procedures for them to follow? So that's occurring every time that we do a drill. So now, by the time that we've gone through 3, 4, 5 drills, first of all, we're really starting to equip our teachers in how to respond appropriately to an emergency. They're reviewing their procedures that are in their flip charts. Every staff meeting then, I'm starting the staff meeting off by reviewing that last drill that we did in the scenario we did. Great job by Mrs. Smith. Here's the drill scenario that I gave her. I read the scenario. Are there any questions about this? She did a great job. Here's what she did. She pulled the fire pole. She alerted the staff through the Respond app. Great job taking attendance. You reviewed the 4 procedures: lockdown, mental health and healing, reverse evacuation, chemical, material, and spill. Any questions about that? So what I'm doing by doing that, and what we're equipping our principals with that we work with, is we're really building upon that culture of safety and security. We're really building on those layers of peace of mind from a district perspective and from a building perspective around school safety as well. So at the end of the day, you know, your success is our goal around school safety. And as I hope you've been able to see, we have a safety solution where we're going to work with you to develop, maintain, and execute an effective school safety program. And I firmly believe that you're on this webinar because you're looking for additional school safety solutions that are out there. And we strive to be an exceptional company when it comes to school safety. And we want each and every one of you to have that peace of mind when it comes to school safety, regardless of where you are, where you can prepare your staff better to respond to any emergency. And if you think we can assist you with that, we would love to partner with you. There'll be additional information in how you can get that, but I definitely want to take this time to thank you for being a part of this webinar. It's crazy life being a school administrator. Catherine and I know that from personal experience, and we're here to help you around that craziness called school safety for sure. Thank you.
Okay, Tom and Catherine, thank you both so much. Yes, we're going to, at this point, move on to the Q&A portion. Just first, a couple reminders. If you do have a question, just enter it in the Q&A box at the bottom right-hand corner there. Also, another reminder for anyone who's interested, we will make the slides available as well as the archive recording here. If you want to go back over the presentation, go back over anything at your own pace. So you'll see you'll have ample opportunity to do that. Let's see, first question I think is for you, Tom. It says, is the safety plan template generic? In my state, we use a modified version of the FEMA template.
Sure. So what we look at is if you don't have a safety plan, we have the FEMA template that is in there. So FEMA developed this in 2012, really in studying this in depth and doing the research on that. It's a great plan to have if your state does not require one. If a state does require one, then we take that state template and we build that. Right now I'm in the state of Tennessee. I'm actually in the Smoky Mountains with Tennessee superintendents here in Gatlinburg. Tennessee has a specific state template, both a district template and an individual building template, and we've taken that template and that's what's available for Tennessee schools. So we tweak it based on the state, based on you at the local level as well.
Okay, great. And kind of a good setup for the next question here. Someone just asking about the pages. Can they be personalized or prioritized by district or school? Tom, are there customization sort of options or things like that?
There sure are. The entire system is customizable based on the local level. So whether it's that safety plan, we customize it for that individual district or the individual buildings. The flip charts are all customizable for each of the buildings within a district. Some districts have consistent flip charts for all the buildings. Other buildings, it varies based on the level, elementary, middle, and high. So everything is customizable, both from a district and building perspective.
Sure, great. Next question says they thank you both for your presentations, saying it was well thought out and complete. Just asking what happens when substitute teachers are in the building and maybe unaware of your plans. I don't know if there's something in NaviGate that accounts for that, or if you have just general advice or recommendations there.
Sure. So this comes from Newtown Schools, and this is their advice. There is one procedure in particular that your substitutes must know about, and that's when they're in direct supervision of students and there's an intruder, or we have to go into lockdown, or whatever your procedures are. So what Newtown does for that one procedure is they put it, they laminate a little label, and they put it on the back of the badges, the substitute badges that the substitutes get. In addition, they put that in every subfolder what those procedures are. Because if you think about it, if somebody pulls the alarm, the fire pole, and you're going outside, I can grab that substitute as a teacher and I can tell them, stick with me, we'll get you outside, and I can account for that substitutes class and respond in addition to mine. But you have to make sure that your substitutes have access to what those procedures are in a lockdown situation. Now, for your long-term substitutes, you can give them access to the NaviGate Prepared and get them that. But the best practice says they have to know what to do in a lockdown.
Okay, great. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Tom, we have several questions, people, kind of related questions, more or less asking about the cost or the pricing structure. I'm sure it probably depends, but maybe you could just talk about what's the pricing structure like when a district partners with you.
Sure. So the current pricing structure that we have, and I say current because it will change in 2018, But in order for us to go in and build the flip chart or build the interactive floor plans, do all that, send our teams in, the base price is $4,000 for high school, and that includes first-year license. That's turnkey price. $3,500 for a middle school, and $3,000 for elementary school, and that's turnkey. So that's doing everything, building everything, working, training, everything like that. The ongoing license then is just $1,200 per building. Now, we work with buildings, districts based on various sizes. If they have too small elementaries, we price it differently for them. So our goal is for price not to be an issue, and very rarely do we run into a district where we can't work with them because of small enrollment or budget issues. But that's the base pricing is what I just described.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Let's see, getting back to, I think you were talking earlier about some of the different types of situations districts can encounter and how they differ. Someone just asked here, what types of situations are you finding most schools are preparing for now? It seems like all the discussion they hear is about active shooters. Are there trends there, Tom? Do you have thoughts on the most common scenarios?
The trend is we spend way too much time on the active shooter. You know, we team up with some of the leading experts around the country. You're more likely to have a student killed in your parking lot or die of a medical situation or suicide as opposed to the active shooter. What the research shows is you should be spending about 15 to 20% of your time on the active shooter, active assailant type of a scenario. The other 80–85% of your time should be on other hazards that your students face. And that's the type of thought leadership that we provide to you. We cannot spend too much time on the active, or we can spend, a lot of schools do spend way too much time on the active shooter. So we work with you based on your situation in order to balance that out. What are the hazards that you may face? That's what we need to assist you in preparing for.
All right, sure, thank you. And Tom, I think you touched on the training being that NaviGate provides. Someone just asking what type of training or types of training do you provide? Could you provide a little more detail on that?
Sure, depending on the you know, the size of the district and how they want to roll that out. You know, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is our customer success team. So each district that we work with has a dedicated customer success individual that they work with hand in hand and make sure that they have a successful implementation, successful rollout, and then they're using the product successfully as well. So there's numerous types of web-based trainings that they offer to those, either individually at the district level, at the building level, collectively, whatever it might be. In addition, we do a lot of live trainings with staff and safety teams. Last week I was just outside of Knoxville here in Tennessee, working with Blount County Schools, a large district here in Tennessee with their safety plan. So whatever level of training a district needs, we're going to work with them to give that level of training, and that all comes as a part of that turnkey pricing that I described. It's unlimited number of training opportunities.
Sure, great. Let's see, another interesting question here asking, do you at NaviGate use the research or conduct the research to discuss with districts why schools incur the safety incidents in their building? Kind of a interesting question there, Tom. I don't know if maybe that's more the school district's responsibility, or is that something you advise on? I don't know if you have thoughts on that, the causes of some of these safety incidents.
The causes, you know, you just don't know. We team with a lot of leading experts in school safety. Michael Dorn's probably the key individual that we work with the most. He does safety and security audits. We team up with him to bring him into districts, into areas to speak, to assist them and equip staff on how to do these audits themselves in order to know what are the hazards that are out there. We do a lot of research on our own, and then we team up with other thought leaders out there as well.
Okay, sure. Sounds great. Okay, we're just about almost at the top of the hour here. I think we got through most of our questions, with the exception of we got a couple people asking about they love follow-up materials and the slides and the archive recording. So yes, again, I'll tell you about that in just a second as we close out here, but everyone will be getting a follow-up email with links to those where you can access that. We'll have the archive recording on our site, districtadministration.com. And then some people have been asking about wanting to share this information with their coworkers and additional contact information. And yes, of course, feel free. Everything you receive, you can feel free to share with anyone on your team at your district or anything like that. Thanks to everyone who asked a question here. We really appreciate it. But I'm going to wrap things up here on behalf of District Administration. Of course, I'd like to thank Catherine and Tom. Thank you both so much for being with us here today and sharing your time and expertise. And thank you again to our sponsor, NaviGate Prepared, for their generous sponsorship and support of our seminar here. And of course, to everyone in our audience, thank you as well for joining us. I do hope you found our presentation informative and useful to you. Producing seminars like this one is just part of our mission at DA to inform school district leaders like you about the latest news and trends in K-12 management. You'll find more coverage about issues such as the ones we discussed here in the pages of our monthly print magazine, as well as on our website and in our free daily e-newsletter, DA Daily. And as I was just saying there, for those of you who would like to share this event with your colleagues, anyone on your team, or if you want to go back over the presentation at your own pace, you can access it from our website. The archive recording will be here within about 48 hours, and it will be posted on our list of archived web seminars. And if you'd like to download the slides, you'll find instructions and a link in a thank you email that you'll receive later on today. So that'll be coming from WebEx. That'll have links and additional information in there. So that is it for today's event. Once again, I'm Kurt Isley for District Administration. On behalf of our producer, Joseph Morrow, and everyone on my production team, goodbye, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining us today.